Welcome to Lost in the Dark this week. This week, it is me solo. This is the first ever solo episode of the show. Just kind of wanted to at least get an episode out there to get everyone kind of updated on what's going on and why we've been slower on putting out episodes lately. 2 weeks, and we've talked, Preston and I did an episode about it, but about 2 weeks ago, the shop him and I worked in Great Lakes class in vape closed, and that was in Lansing. I live in Lansing, but Preston lives in Flint, so we're about honestly on the highway, less than 40 minutes apart, in between 30 and 40 minutes apart. So it's been a little bit more difficult to get episodes going because of that. We haven't been around each other as much, and yeah, so it's just been a little bit slower. We're just kind of like working on getting a new rhythm going. Hopefully figuring out soon how to record some sort of video call or Skype or something like that and do some episodes that way and stuff like that. So we definitely have more coming. It's a little bit slower right now, but we just need to find a new groove and we'll get into it and start getting more episodes out to you guys. The closing of the shop was, sad, but kind of is what it is. And we definitely had some fun in the last couple of days. I actually today we had the space until the end of June, so we're still kind of like getting all like the big stuff out and stuff like that. But yeah, it all in all went pretty smoothly, I think, for a closing of a store at least. And then slight update on Bog Wraith. Their singer finally got back from his tour overseas, and I think they've been working on some things lately. Not really sure what. I haven't talked to Aaron much, but hopefully I'll be hearing from him soon. And we'll see what's going on with that when he gets back around. But then, about a week after the shop closed, Preston, his girlfriend Bree, and I went to DTE for a concert. Now, it was my first time back at DTE in about 3 or 4 years-ish. And keep in mind, there was a point in time where every summer I was there once to twice a month at least. Constantly at DT for shows. I love that place. It definitely has its drawbacks. It's always better seeing a band at a smaller venue or inside, stuff like that. But there's just something about that place that is magical and awesome. And I spent a lot of time there, and it was very excited to get back. Yeah, extremely excited. And literally until the day of the show, I thought I was going alone. So, out of nowhere, Preston goes, "Yeah, we'll go." I was like, yes! So we went, we had an absolute fucking blast. We saw, the show was Pop Evil, Cheap Trick, and Poison headlining. Poison's first headliner, solo headliner at least, they've done co-headliners and stuff like that, but solo headline tour, I think since 2008 or 10-ish, somewhere in there. So it's been a long time. The last time I saw them on a solo headline was like 08 or 09. And it was at DT, and it was fucking awesome. They put on like a hell of a show that night. I was up in the pavilion with my girlfriend at the time, actually. Just her and I went to that one. But yeah, I always remembered how great of a show that was, and I'd always wanted to see them like just solo headline again. And they never did until this year, and it was fucking fantastic. They brought biggest set I've ever seen them have. They had a very impressive light show. Everybody was on point, sounding awesome, especially CC DeVille, Ricky Rocket, the fucking shit. Yeah, it was a really fucking great show. We had a good time. We got there too late for Pop Evil. We did see Cheap Trick, at least some of their set, and they were sounding really good too, actually. But and that's the other thing, is the sound coming off the pavilion was actually like really good. I remember the last couple times I went there years and years ago, I'd be up on the lawn and it'd be quiet. I'd be able to have a normal conversation with someone standing next to me. Like, it wasn't like that loud at all. And I was not a fan of that, but no, this time it was very loud, phenomenal. Everything sounded great. The place was amazing. Yeah. And unless unless something else comes up or something, the next ticket I have to a show there isn't sadly until I think September is Ozzy. Definitely going to that. I might go to one of the other ones coming to DT. One of the other metal shows is the Manson Zombie show. I think Five Finger is coming. One other one that I can't remember right now. But yeah, there's a couple other like kind of cool metal shows coming. I mean, Manson and Zombie are always good. Yeah, the only one I have a ticket to at the moment is Ozzy. Next show I have coming up that I hopefully will be going to with my two other hosts is Devil Driver. July, like second week of July at the Music Factory in Battle Creek, Michigan. I have not been there yet, so definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, those are the next shows. If you are ever at any of the shows we mentioned, look for us. One of us will probably be wearing one of the Lost in the Dark t-shirts that we have available for order right now on Amazon. If you just go on Amazon and search Lost in the Dark podcast, you'll find some t-shirts on there. One of them, on the back of it, includes the lyrics to the song Lost in the Dark that me and Preston wrote years and years ago that this show is named after. And the song you heard as an intro to this episode for the first time is a piano version of that song. So we are working on doing like a good recording of like a full-on version, but it's kind of a slow process. But we did have that, so we wanted to share that with you. We'll be using that for a little bit. I love it. And yeah, so I guess that's about it with the updates, I think. It's about all I got for you at the moment. There is one thing, Ticketmaster. Slight update on the Ticketmaster shit. A couple weeks ago, the Slayer tour, the big farewell Slayer tour that's going on right now, came through Michigan for the first time. It's coming back around in August, which is that's the date I'm going to. Because the first one was sold out within 12 hours. We talked about it at length on this show. It was in the first few episodes. It's kind of what started us talking about all this Ticketmaster shit. So, and I had this written down like 2 episodes ago, but I just kept forgetting to bring it up. But I wanted to mention it now. So, the Slayer show came through, I think, two weeks ago now, or a week or so. I think 2 weeks ago now. And then, but like a week or 2 before that, alright, this show that has been sold out since when the tickets went on sale 2-3 months ago, when we started the podcast, or maybe 3-4 months ago. I saw a thing on Facebook here. Yeah, there was a post by Slayer on Facebook. And this is their post. This is what they said in the post. A batch of tickets was just released for the Sterling Heights, Michigan show, and Slayer wants to make sure every one of them goes to their fans. Grab them now by entering code ABYSS. Okay? And when you click on the link, it literally is a link straight to Ticketmaster, where at that point in time, after I typed in the word ABYSS, I could then, before the bullshit Ticketmaster charges, before this is not final cost, I could have gotten a lawn ticket for $35. A batch of tickets was released? You know, what the fuck is that? What does this mean? What is that? Where did this batch of tickets come from? I thought the show was sold out. I thought the amount of tickets for the amount of people capacity to be on the lawn for that show were sold out. That's what sold out fucking means. Not, well, it's sold out until we release our little batches of tickets later on. What the fuck is that? Like, and I'm not calling out any bands for this. I don't think Slayer has anything to do with it. It's fucking all, everybody working in Ticketmaster and fucking even probably on like the, promoter side, and maybe there's fuckery at the fucking venues. Maybe the venues have something to do with this. I don't know. But, this is, since I've been going down this road and paying attention and stuff like that, this is the second instance I've heard of this. The first, like, personally, like, personally either seen it or someone I know got a ticket from we got a little batch we're releasing here to a sold out show. I know someone that got a ticket to the Jack White show in downtown Detroit a few months back after that show had been sold out for months because Ticketmaster just released a little batch. I don't get what this means, and I think it's outrageous. I mean, all it's doing is fucking over fans. You're gonna release the tickets for $35 fucking dollars, but the day before that and who knows, the day after that or whatever, they're gonna be only available through resale again for $90 to $100. The last time I checked, they were at $90 or $100. They might have been even more at that point. Like, what the fuck? Like, you have verified resale on your website. It takes you directly there, where someone already bought a ticket to something. They've already paid all your bullshit, your $15 to $20 fucking dollars in fees, and now you're allowing that same person to resell that ticket on your website for a larger cost, so that person makes a profit. And when this new person buys that ticket, you again get to charge them all the same fees. So you get double the fucking fees out of every single fucking resale. So you're letting fans purchase tickets at outrageously inflated prices while you're sitting on some that you know full well you're going to release to the public at some point in time. Like, this is insane to me. Like, this doesn't... I guess this is what happens when you have a fucking monopoly. Like, when Live Nation bought Ticketmaster, it's a monopoly at that point. Where the fuck else are you going to go for a fucking ticket? You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's the box office. Like, I think we talked about on another episode how Trent Reznor, lead singer of Nine Inch Nails, they're doing all these some little intimate shows and stuff like that, and that's what they did. They're like, we're releasing tickets only available at the box office. If you want these tickets, you have to get to the box office day of, wait in line, blah blah blah. And you know what, son of a bitch, like, I think I said on that show, like, yeah, it kind of sucks for people that live an hour and a half, 2 hours away or whatever, or even farther, but at the same time, I think a 2.5 to 3 hour round trip drive is worth it to not fucking deal with Ticketmaster. Like, yeah, quote unquote monopolies are illegal, but how the fuck do we stop them? You know what I'm saying? Like, once one's there, what do? I definitely purchase from box offices as often as possible, but there's no shows that come through my city, you know? I usually have to travel at least an hour and a half away. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to give that update, my take on that. If anybody has any ideas on where to go in terms of research for this or anything you want to hear about specifically or anything like that, let us know, because honestly, it's hard to find shit about this. When you search this stuff online, all you really get are a series of horror stories of people, dealing with fucking Ticketmaster. But you don't get any real fucking information on who's deciding what. According to Ticketmaster, most of the fees are decided by the promoters or the venues. So maybe it is those motherfuckers. I don't know. But that's, if anybody out there does know or has a way to find out, let us know. Because that, is something I want to know about. Because I feel like, it's a money grab that's fucking over fans. And when you're dealing with a big name act, it doesn't, fans are still going to buy the tickets to all the fucking Taylor Swifts and Justin Biebers and all that stuff, right? But when you're adding $15 in fees to a $20 ticket, $15 in fees you're adding to a $20 ticket, you're at that point, you know what I mean? You're paying for 2 tickets and getting 1. That's hurting those bands that are going to the smaller clubs and fucking playing the smaller, more intimate shows for the hardcore fans. You know what I mean? It's hurting the fans themselves because it's now costing them, what if I want to buy one to bring my friend for his birthday or some shit? Now it's going to cost me 4 tickets, the cost of 4 tickets, and I'm going to get 2. This makes no fucking sense. So yeah. Anyway, if anybody has anything on that, we'd love little direction. It's a little it's just kind of hard to research this stuff. So, yeah. If anybody has anything on that, I just kind of wanted to give that little Slayer ticket debacle update. But I do, I think I'm going to take this time, kind of like share a story. So, I'm going to say about 2 years ago now, year before last, I think. Yeah, year before last summer. So it would have been summer 16. I think it was July, sometime in July. I went with some friends and my girlfriend at the time to Wisconsin. Now, anyone who knows me personally knows that I pretty much love all places and things except Wisconsin. And I often use jokes from the movie Dogma when talking about Wisconsin, because I do believe that is where God sends fallen angels. A place worse than hell. No, I just have fun because Green Bay Packers are the arch nemesis of fucking the Detroit Lions, and the Michigan State Spartans, where I went to school, would have had a either undefeated season, or they would have only lost one game if not for the Wisconsin Badgers one year. And yeah, so I just have a rivalry with the state of Wisconsin. No one in particular, except for the Green Bay Packers. Anyway, we went to Wisconsin even if it was under my protest, we did go, a bunch of friends and I. We were going to the Wisconsin Dells. One of my buddies really wanted to go check out all the fucking... If you don't know what the Wisconsin Dells are, it's like a city with like the most water parks in the world. It's like Water Park Central. And then they do have like a little like kind of like old towny sort of downtown area that was actually pretty nice. But on this trip, you know, you're in a hotel and they got all the little fucking flyers for all the little touristy shit to do around town. I grabbed a flyer for something called Alligator Alley. Alligator Alley, that's what it was called. On the flyer was just come check out some reptiles and feed the alligators and blah, blah. I was like, that sounds cool. And we were walking to some go-karts. It was weird. It was like this big, long, like, parking lot. But it was like long, not wide. And there were like a bunch of buildings on the right and the left. And then at the end, it like dead-ended sort of at this like go-kart track that we were going to, which were actually pretty fucking dope go-karts. But in that little like area was the fucking Alligator Alley, and it was like, I don't know, it was like $5-10. I think it was like $5 admission, but pay $10 and you can we'll give you some meat to feed the fucking gators. It's like, no shit, all right, fuck it, let's go. And you walk in and it's kind of like, it's like a U-shaped walkway. And you just kind of like go through the loop and see all the stuff. And in the middle of it all is this big like tank, the biggest tank in the room, with a whole bunch of like baby alligators and crocodiles in there and stuff. And there's these like tubes above the glass in like the wall area that are like sticking out. And you put the meat in the tube and it drops down and they go for it. Pretty cool. So we walk around kind of fucking browsing, some pretty cool shit. Some caiman crocodiles were in there. They had an albino alligator. They had fucking albino python. They had like a 2-headed snake and a 2-headed turtle. Like a bunch of like really cool, neat shit. And I like went through the loop once, a little bit quick, just kind of get a sense of how big the area was, and see what's in there. And then I kind of like doubled back to everybody else. And then I'm standing there like feeding the gators, and everybody kind of like goes ahead of me. And then it's just me and my girlfriend at the time in there. Pretty much everybody had gone on. And fucking, I walk around the corner again, and I notice one, exhibit that I didn't look at before. And it was literally in the back, the most backest, darkest fucking corner. Like, unless you were looking, you wouldn't have really noticed it. Like, I walked by the first 2 times and didn't notice it. It's like, oh shit, what's over here? So I go over and look. And I shit you not, like, when I looked in this cage, like, the first thing that went through my head was, oh my fucking god, they have a dinosaur. Like, they found a dinosaur and it's alive right there in front of me. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, oh, what the fuck? It was a lizard. It was a pretty big lizard. And it had, like a long tail, like a long normal lizard tail, but then it's on the top of the tail, it has like a fucking fin. Like, damn it, I forget the name of the dinosaur. But I'm sure you know, I know for a fact, all of us saw it in books and in Jurassic Park and stuff like that. It's the dinosaur that just like has like a big, like a big like a fold out fan, those little like Chinese like fans that are foldable, they fold out but like a fin that kind of looks like that, you know what I mean? And here I am standing here looking at a fucking lizard with that on its tail. It's big and it's got like spikes, not these things that look like spikes like going down its neck and back, and it was like blue and purple and just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I'd never seen anything like this before in my life. Like, I'm standing here, I was 26 at the time, looking at something that I did not know existed. And so I started freaking out. I look up at the fucking little flyer thing they got in the window to tell you about what's in the cage. And it said, this is a Philippine Sailfin Dragon. Species name Hydrosaurus pustulatus. And yeah, like I showed it to everybody and nobody was quite as impressed as me for whatever reason. And we left. But I could not get that fucking thing out of my head. I couldn't believe what I saw. So I started doing research. I'm talking like a lot of research. For the next like 2 months, I would literally like keep myself up late at night reading about these things. Found them fucking fascinating. And one of the reasons why I found them so fascinating is, like, to me, like, when you look at it, it's a living dinosaur. But yet, like, almost no research has been done on these things. Like, very little. There's been a couple studies, but very little research is even known about these animals. And apparently at one point in time in the 90s, they were relatively popular pets. You could go to your local exotic pet store and they'd probably have one or something. They weren't extremely rare. But right around 2000, the United States stopped importing. I don't know if they stopped all trade with the Philippines or whatever, but they stopped importing the Philippine Sailfin Dragons, lizards. So people weren't able to really get them here anymore. At least not at a pet store, which is where usually everybody goes and gets their pets. So since then, you've pretty much had to... The only way to really get one is to get one from a breeder, who I found a few of in my research. But yeah, like, these things are just so like... So what is known about them? Let's start there. Obviously, they're from the Philippines. As far as we know, I think, at the moment at least, there are only there's 2 or 3 classifications of them in the wild. There's the Hydrosaurus pustulatus, and then there's the Hydrosaurus Weber, or Weberi, Weberi. And the biggest differences between them are the way they look. The pustulatus are my favorite personally, because they're known for, like, having a lot of green, but also having these, like, really striking blue and purple accents, like, on their face and back and stuff like that. It's the males that get those colors, not the females. They require around 60% humidity at all times, at least. They need a pretty big... They get large, you know what I mean? They get, like, probably from tip of tail to tip of nose, they get probably... Like, a long one would be 5 feet, probably. So, a little bit smaller on average in size than a fully grown iguana. And yeah, obviously these are water dragons, water lizards. They're often lumped in. Like, if you find a book on sailfin lizards, there will be, probably a chapter on these guys and lots more on, like, the Chinese water dragon and and some other ones. So yeah, with limited research and access and stuff like that, I did what I could. I found out what I could about them, and I just fucking pretty much got obsessed with them and started buying stuff to prepare getting one. And like I said, I found, I think, don't get me wrong, there could very well be many more, but I found, I think, three or four breeders, I think, in North America. One of those four is in Canada, the other three in the United States, I think. Two of them are in Florida, and those are the two that I actually talk to the most. One of them, and you can find one of them, this one, on Facebook. Let me try to remember what the Facebook name is. Jay's Arboreals. That's what it is. Search that. That's his website too. Jay's Arboreals. It's owned by a guy named John Steele, I think. He's a really good guy. He's always messaged me back, been super, super nice. He has posted some videos on his YouTube page, the Jay's Arboreals YouTube page, of, some basics about them, feeding, cage setup, habitat, this and that have been extraordinarily helpful to me. He's a really good guy and he breeds some of the most gorgeous sailfins that I've ever seen. He's really active on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, so definitely check out some of those pictures for sure. But the main one that I talked to is a guy named Scott Corning. I believe his website is dragonattack.com. I think that was the name of it. To me, he's the fucking guru. Like, he's the Master Yoda of this shit. He has been doing it, I think, over 15 or 20 years or so. And man, oh man, like some pretty much when you Google search Philippine Sailfin Dragon, and I recommend doing that right now. Like, if one of the main pictures that pops up should be of one where its head is kind of like, it's like on a log facing downward but looking at the camera, and its head is kind of in the lower left and its tail goes up and around to the left. That's one of his. Yeah, like a lot of the pictures you'll find are of his, because he's the master of it, and he's been doing it a very long time. And relevant to this show, he's a big time metalhead. He actually goes on the I forget what it's called, the metal cruise, the 70-ton or 70,000 ton metal cruise or whatever the hell it's called. That is one of the places that Lost in the Dark will be at one day. We hope. But yeah, he's an amazing guy. He fucking put up with a relentless amount of emails from me in the beginning, each one containing 1 billion questions, and he just fucking, every single time, he just happily answered everything for me. I actually do own a Sailfin Dragon. I named her Maloik after the metal horns. Found out a couple months only. I've had her since that summer, since 2016. And I only found out a couple months ago, actually, that she's a female when she laid eggs. So I was like, oh, what the fuck? And Mr. Corning was even nice enough to be like, look, I can get you a male if you want. I was like, man, honestly, I've already raised her for like 1.5 years. Like, I'm kind of attached. I don't want to get rid of her. So maybe I'm hoping to still end up getting a male one day. But for now, it's me and her. And yeah, Mr. Corning is just a fucking fantastic guy. One of the best breeders of these things probably anywhere at this point. And if you look these things up and your mind is as blown as mine, and you go down the same rabbit hole I did, I highly recommend talking to one of them if you're looking to get one. So yeah, after about 2 straight months of research and planning and purchasing things to get everything ready for the lizard's arrival, I finally fucking got one ordered and spent like the most stressful 12 hours of my life while it was shipped to me. Fucking tracked it every step of the way all night long, and I was at the fucking FedEx office or distribution center fucking as soon as they opened. And yeah, I did one thing I definitely learned in that process is I spent way too much money in the beginning on getting things for her. Well, number one, as much as I will always say support your local fucking pet shops, it is a little hard sometimes when they sell like the extra large Exoterra water dish for $70 when I can get it on Amazon for $25. Certain things, watch out. Certain things, it's probably worth saving the $50. However, on day to day, like I go to my local, even though it's a little bit longer of a drive from me, I go to my local pet store to buy all my crickets, worms, vegetables, all this stuff, all food, all that stuff for her, all like the day to day essentials. But yeah, stuff like and honestly, animal branded stuff, like stuff specifically for lizards or whatever, 9 times out of 10 you can get or make a better version of it very easily and for significantly cheaper, like for instance water bowls and swimming pools and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a really fucking weird market to kind of like navigate. That's definitely something that I found out. Yeah, the whole like reptile specifically, but it probably applies to most of the pet supply market. It's just really strange. Especially so the sailfins require high humidity, so you need to spray down, or I should say either and. Spray down the cage every day with a hand pump water sprayer mister thing, or get the fucking they have reptile foggers, and trust me people, I did my research. Every single one of them has more bad reviews than good reviews. It's really, really weird. None of them seem good. So it's well, what the fuck do you do? Well, honestly, I went to fucking Meijer and got a fucking humidifier that I just fill with water and nothing else, and put a fucking plastic tube in it coming out from the top, and it keeps the humidity levels perfect. It's fantastic. And I did that based off of seeing other people on YouTube and stuff do that, so there's stuff like that. However, I will say water filters, the sailfin requires a large pool. So, and as she gets bigger, it needs to get bigger. So I need a pretty big filter, normally made for aquariums. I use a fluval external canister filter, and it works great, but that's an example of something that is that side. I guess I'm trying to say that side of the market is a little easier to navigate than just the random little supplies and stuff like that. It's weird. It's a weird thing, really fucking weird. It's just something I learned. But overall, I tell you what, she's been amazing. I fucking love having her and taking care of her every day and stuff like that. It's a great pet to have. They're not the most, they're not like bearded dragons. They're a little bit more flighty. They don't really chill that much. You can get them calmed down pretty good. And I also need, I'm still working on arranging a better area for her where I can actually let her out of the cage and run around a little bit, stuff like that. A little bit more. I think she'll be a lot better at then, because she likes getting pet a lot, which is awesome. And if I have, if I got a super worm on some tongs, I can bring it up my arm and she'll climb all over me to get it. But yeah, it's, I just, I've been wanting to tell that story on here for a little while. Bring, some attention to the fucking Philippine Sailfin Dragon, because, it's something that amazes me. So if you want to go check it out, it'll probably amaze you as well, because, man, they are fucking gorgeous. They are gorgeous. And they don't get that giant. They do require a large enclosure, don't get me wrong, we're talking. But we're talking the size of, a big dresser or curio cabinet, or, something like that. Ideally, their ideal cage size is 5 feet tall, 4 feet deep, 4 feet wide, or 6x4x4, 5x4x4. So yes, admittedly, we're not talking stick them in a 60-gallon aquarium or anything. You're gonna have to dedicate a little corner, but totally fucking worth it, because they're just fucking incredible animals. Just incredible. Absolutely love them. I highly recommend everybody at least hop online and take a look, because they're breathtaking. So yeah, honestly, I didn't really have anything else for you today, so I just kind of wanted to give some updates, let everybody know where we're at, let everybody know that while the episodes might be rolling out a little bit slower right now, that is very temporary. We will be getting back to it very soon. Very soon. And when we do come back, Aaron and I have a album artwork artist episode for you. I think we're going to finally do Black Dahlia Murder. Maybe talk about some Skeleton Witch. And who knows what may or may not be added. We'll see. If you have any suggestions, if you would like us to talk about, if there's any album covers that influenced you or made you fall in love with the band, let us fucking know. I want to hear about it. And we'll do an episode on it or something. Like, seriously, like, we are absolutely loving this stuff and learning about it all. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I got for you today. So we'll be back soon. We'll at least have one more episode out next week and keep it rolling like that until we can pick it back up a little bit. And we will, of course, keep all of you as posted as humanly possible. Keep an eye on the Facebook and Instagram for any announcements. I'm sure we'll have some stuff coming down the pipeline soon. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Check out Philippine Sailfin Dragon. Blow your fucking mind. One piece of news. One piece of news I did want to mention. Something pretty cool. Because 2/3 of the hosts of Lost in the Dark podcast are from Detroit. And our whole family is from the Detroit area. And we do go down there and talk about it a lot. So some big news in Detroit. The Ford Motor Company recently purchased the Grand Central Station in downtown Detroit. Now, if you're not from the area, that's probably meaningless to you. But if you are from the area, then, you've probably always, like me, looked up at it like, oh, that's the coolest fucking building ever. Oh my god, like, the inside of it's so crazy. Eminem shot a music video on the inside of it, the music video for the song Beautiful. It was heavily featured in the final battle, I think the final battle scene in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. That was all filmed in Detroit. It was actually, they had that building in particular on an island in between Gotham City and Metropolis. That was pretty cool. Well, fucking just awesome building. And all my life growing up, pretty much every single window in it was broken out. And only in the past few years have I noticed now there's some electricity in there. And a few years ago, I think when they did the Batman vs. Superman, they fixed all the windows or something. In a lot of ways, it's a symbol. It was like this great, historic, beautiful thing. And then it just decayed over many, 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 many years of neglect. And that's kind of, a simplified version of the story of Detroit as a whole. And now that the Grand Central Station is coming back and getting renovated and going to be used, the top 2 floors are going to be residential. How fucking dope would it be to have an apartment up in that place? And yeah, it's just, a sign of a city having a new renaissance in a lot of ways. For anybody interested, check out the trailer. There is on June 1st, History Channel is going to drop, I think, like a little mini documentary thing about it. Lots of cool people are in it. I noticed that I can't remember who the main narrator is, but whoever is like narrating it in the trailer or whatever is fucking Alice Cooper. So that's pretty fucking badass. But yeah, I just thought that was a pretty cool piece of news that I wanted to mention. But yeah, so there. You've had updates, you've had a story, and now a piece of news. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully I'll be back with one of my other fucking cohorts next week. If not, then you'll just be hearing more from me. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to click like or subscribe. If you've made it this far, you are awesome. And I'll talk to all you motherfuckers later. Love you all. Peace.